1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Tracy. And thank you again, Nye. Good to see you. And thank you, Ms. Warren. And special thanks to Devin. It's such an honor to be able to introduce Mr. McGuire. And without Devin Spurgeon, we wouldn't have this opportunity. I don't know if you know, but dear speaker, that we've had speakers ranging from Lewis Hamilton to Melody Hobson, George Lucas to Glenn Close, and Devin has curated this wonderful speaker series in the darkest days of the pandemic to bring light from the best of humanity to our own shining outpost here in Spanish Harlem. All of the luminaries mentioned, including our own Mr. McGuire this morning, have been measured up against and selected according to our school's mission, which is to adapt elegantly to change and to create and share a life of deep meaning, dynamic virtue, and transcendent joy. And so now we have today Ray McGuire, your meteoric, staggering, and unprecedented rise from a sulfur-choked dead-end street and smoke-darkened skies in Dayton to sunlit boardrooms on Wall Street. You grace our virtual stage this morning, and we are so grateful. From Hotchkiss, I hear you averaged 28 points per game. I don't know how many assists you dished out, but then on to Harvard, then to finish with a JD MBA, which is the equivalent of a career of triple doubles. Mr. McGuire went on to the heights of the most competitive of the world's business. And then for the last 13 years, you've been the head of global corporate and investment banking at Citigroup, and you are the longest tenured head of investment banking in the history of Wall Street. And beyond your astounding professional accomplishments, you've also made contributions to education, health, and the arts here in New York City. You've given back strongly to us by serving on the boards of places like New York Presbyterian Hospital, New York Public Library, Whitney Museum, and the Studio Museum in Harlem. I could go on and on about just the amazing life course that you've had, but the students have read your biography, and we'll ask you to speak more. I do want to finish up by saying that I am a diehard Knicks fan, and I was rooting for your son Cole Anthony to drop 30 on us, but have Julius Randle hang an L on the Magic. But your son was out with an injury, and Julius handled his business. But back to the joyful business at hand. It's an honor to welcome you, a titan of Wall Street, who also chooses with a Promethean gesture to enter the realm of politics. I'm so excited that you'll share your formidable path and plans with us for our greatest of cities. An astonishing life, an astounding career shift, an outstanding participant in our storied speaker series, Mr. Ray McGuire.
Mr. Hageman, thank you. Ivan, thank you. I don't think that I've received such an illustrious introduction here since my mother gave me one. So I'm delighted to be here with you. I think the rules of engagement is if I see, people kind of napping on the screen, I can call them out, which I'm quite comfortable doing. By the way, all of what Mr. Hageman outlined from the start is what I have done, a lot of what I have done. What is not included there is who I am. And who I am is you. I could have easily been on this screen a few years ago, looking the way that many of you look today. And why do I say that? Because I come from the neighborhood. I come from, a place where we didn't have a lot of money. My single mother, I didn't know my dad. My single mother raised me and my two brothers, along with my grandparents. And at any point in time, we also had, half a dozen or so foster children in our home with us as my brothers and sisters. And I was in Dayton. And when Mr. Hageman talks about the skies, I grew up where there was a paper mill factory, a factory right across the street from my house. And sometimes the fumes that came out were so strong that the only way that we could breathe was to open the refrigerator door. So I know what it's like, not to have things and not to have any money. And my mother sacrificed for me to go to school and get an education. And I can remember in, beginning in the 6th grade, I had to walk, 3/4 of a mile to a mile to a street corner where the bus would pick me up. And it would take me, on the highway for a while to get to a school. And then at night, it would bring me back home from that school. And I did that from the early grade, from 6th grade to the time I got to the 11th grade. And when I got to the 11th grade, teacher said, you have an A average. You have done pretty well in school. You've done pretty well on the basketball court. And you're the president of the school. So if you're as good as they say you are, why don't you go test yourself against, the kids at East Harlem? And I said, okay, where are they? So I took a bus around New England by myself at 16 and found a school in Connecticut, and then went on to college and law school and business school at Harvard. So I came to New York from the same backgrounds that you all have come from. Many of you have come from. And I made certain that I would do what was most important, and that is get an education. You don't recognize today, but you will, the importance of what you're doing and the importance of getting an education. There's nothing more important than getting an education. And I know that, education today is more difficult because you are on a Zoom screen and you can't really interact. Well, I have an 8-year-old Leo and an 18-year-old Ella who spent time on this. And, I got to make sure that I have Leo spend less time on 2K and Minecraft, which is I'm looking at Amir and James. I don't know what you guys are up to, but I got you. I know, James. I'm looking right at you. I'm looking at Amir. Hope y'all not trying to ball on 2K. I got y'all, okay? I know what's up. I see you, Bradley. Anyway, and Ariana, I got you too. Arana, I got you. I don't know what Zoe's doing. Zoe looks, that's what I'm talking about. There we go. Nadia, how you doing? Yeah, I got y'all's attention, huh? Just I'll call y'all out. I'm good with that. Alexa, how you doing? Who I got on my screen over here? I got Marlon. I know Marlon's all in. Herman, how you doing? Just wave if you're good. Okay, you good? Okay. Catherine, you good? Valeria, you good? I know. No, who didn't call me out? Yes, I did. Okay. So anyway, when I came to this city, I had a great education. I had a lot of student debt and I had no money. So I had to really come into this, into a world that I knew nothing about. And the only way that I was able to go and compete in this world is to make certain I had a great education. So my mother and my grandparents, I did know my dad. My mother and my grandparents are the ones who got me here and the ones who made it possible for me to get an education. And so I worked in business for longer than you all have been alive, for 36 years or so, and decided to leave what I was doing in business, which was a pretty successful career in business, a pretty successful job, so I could go and help the city, help us move forward so that, other kids like me, like you all, could get an education. And education is the most important thing. So Vanessa, I love the flashing lights back there. And as you go through this, Andre, I see you just showed up. Jimmy, you're good. So Corey, I can't really see you. Warren, what are you doing? Warren, what's up? How you doing, Warren? Can you wave, Warren? There you go. Okay, we're good now. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? For you all, so you can have the same opportunities that I had. I don't want it to be by chance. I want it to be by design. That meaning I want this to be intentional. I want to make sure that you're included, Dean and Andreas. I want to make sure that you all are included. So why don't I pause there and see if there are any questions that anybody has. And by the way this works is you don't ask me questions and I'm quite comfortable going across the screen and seeing what's on your mind. So fire away. What we got?
Thank you so much, Ray. We're very excited to start the questions. So we'll go to Catherine first. and she is an 8th grader here.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, good morning. I would like to thank you for being our virtual speaker today. And New York has been a city that has struggled throughout the course of the COVID-19 pandemic. My question for you is, what would be some of your methods in encouraging New Yorkers to work together in order to fix the consequences that have resulted due to the pandemic?
So that is a great question, Catherine. As you know, the language that people are using today is not language that brings us together. There are so many relationships out there that can bring us together. And if I look at you all and look at how you've come from, different places, but you can all coexist and respect each other. And what we need to do in New York is to have what I think about as leadership, who's got the capacity, who's got the skills, who's got who knows enough people in different parts of the city to bring the city together. And that's what we need as we think about the challenges of COVID, which are significant. We think about that and think about what we're going to do to overcome it. And what we need to do is to work together. And we need leadership that brings us together, that pulls us together. And that's what my leadership is designed to do, because I, have been in so many different places and I know what it's like not to have that, and, not to have much money. I know what that's like. And I know what it's like, what it's necessary to get into the room where you can have some impact. That's what this is all about. So that's why I'm doing this for you all.
Thank you so much for that. We'll go next to Vanessa for our next question.
Hi, Vanessa. The lights are flashing. Who you got up there, Vanessa?
God.
Of course. Okay, we're good with that.
Okay. Good morning. I have read in your biography that a teacher once told you that if you are as good as they say you are, why don't you go test yourself against the big girls and the boys in the East? So my question for you is, how did it make you feel at the time when you heard that, and what effect did her words have on your life?
Vanessa, those words changed my life. They were words that challenged me. They were words that acknowledged that I had done well, but that I could do better. And that in order to do better, I needed to continue to test myself and to challenge myself and to set standards for myself that were higher than anybody else's standards for me. And I remember that teacher so well and so vividly. And I remember those words of challenge, but also the words of inspiration. She believed in me, as your teachers believe in you. They know that you can do well, but they also know that what they want you to do is to do your best. And when you do your best, there's nobody better. And so you don't compete against each other, you compete against yourself. And when you set the standards for yourself that says you're doing as well as you can against a lot of odds, I know it's hard. It's like really hard. I get that. It's hard every day, but given that you're in the school in which you're in, East Harlem, you have people who love you, who care about you, who want you to succeed. That's what this is all about. It's not about the teachers. The teachers are there for you. And they're giving you all of their love. They're giving you all of their attention. They're giving you all the things that they know about. They're pouring all of this into you so that you can realize the best of you. And they're trying to do this so that you get the opportunities to go out and be whatever you want to be. And if there's a moment in time when you can start thinking about how you want to be, whatever you want to be, they're going to expose you to a lot of different opportunities. And what that teacher did for me was expose me to so many different opportunities about the things that I could be. It was okay to be an entertainer. It was okay to be an athlete, but there are other things out there that are equally as rewarding as that. And we ought to explore those things. And we figure out where we can be an artist. We can be a pilot. We can be a teacher. We can be a doctor. We can be a lawyer. We can be a business person. We can be a software engineer. We can be a plumber. We can be a coder. But there's so many things out there to which your school is going to expose you, that there's a whole world out there waiting for you. And they're making certain that you're ready to go take it on.
Thank you so much. Our next question comes from Tracy, who you met in the green room earlier.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey.
Hey,
Ooh.
is your music coming on, Tracy? Who you got?
My mom's phone. Sorry. Can I?
Well, tell us who the song was, Tracy. It's okay.
It's not my music. It's my mom's phone.
Oh, it's your mom's
She's not
phone. What
here.
kind of tunes does she have on there?
Sounds like Hispanic music.
Okay, we're good with that.
Okay, stop. Sorry. So on your website, you said that the same old political answers won't fix that when you refer to job losses and financial crisis in New York City. And for my question is, what do you think is a pattern in our local government that needs to change in order to improve this issue? And how will you work to change it?
So one pattern that's really important is education. And one of the ways that I would move to change it is to make certain that every kid in New York have the opportunity that you all are having, because it is so fundamental. It's so important to how they live and to their future. And the educational system today has not made what you have to you, what you have available, hasn't made what you have available to all the kids in New York City. So I would make certain that every child in New York City had the same opportunity that you had. And then I would hold ourselves accountable. The people at East Harlem hold themselves accountable for your well-being. And they are directly involved every day, and they think about you every day. I want that for all the kids in New York City schools, regardless of their economic background, their economic income, whatever their parents do. You know, that's important to some extent, but what you do is the most important thing, and how well you are educated, and whether or not you can do math, whether or not you can read at level, if not above level. I don't want you to read below level. I want you to read at level or above level, which is all of you are capable of doing that. Each of you is really smart and really talented and really gifted, and you're the future. And so we're investing in you. And I want to make sure that all of our children, not just the ones in East Harlem who have an extraordinary opportunity, but the ones in all of our schools have opportunities that are similar to yours.
Thank you so much. And we'll go next to Sophia.
Where's Sophia? Sophia, where are you? There you go. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Thank you.
You have had an established and successful career in Wall Street. So my question is, what inspired you to get into politics?
You inspired me to get into politics. What I recognize is that in order for us to have the future, in order for us to have the opportunities that I had and the opportunities that you all are having, that we need to go fight for it. And we need a leader whose sole agenda is what is in your best interest. So I decided, when I called my mother, who is now 95, and told her that I quit my job, she thought I'd lost my mind. And I had to explain to her that it's a city that I love, that was having some problems, which I'm uniquely positioned to help solve, which is why I'm doing this. So those problems is what we've just talked about when it comes to education. We need our children. We need you all to have you have the best education. If you have the best education, then it will make the things that I look at the things that I've done look like they were in the last century. You all are the future. So we need to make sure that we've invested in you, make sure you get all the opportunities that you deserve to have, which is why I am running for mayor.
All right, we're going to go next to Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Hello. My question for you is, New York City has been experiencing a lot of gentrification over the past years, and it is still ongoing problem that continues to negatively impact and displace many people. As mayor, what would be your plan to stop the negative consequences of gentrification?
You know, that is a great question, Crystal. It is too expensive to live in the city. And so we have to build houses that people who are making less money, the people who really are on the front end, we need to build houses where we can afford, most of the New Yorkers can afford those houses. And up to this point, we haven't done that. So my commitment is to build those deeply affordable houses, and where people are building homes, where gentrification comes in, to make sure that the communities are involved. And those people who are the most at risk, the ones who are most threatened from being displaced to move from their homes, they need to have a say-so in how their community develops. They've been there on the ground from the start. And under my administration, they're going to have a seat at the table, and I'm going to listen to them. And up to this point, we simply have not listened to the people whose lives are going to be the most impacted. And we need to build houses that they can afford to live in.
Thank you so much, Ray. And we'll go next to Sitlali.
Hello, Sitlali. How
Hi,
are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm good. You're pretty relaxed about the whole thing. That's cool.
Okay. I have read that you have done a lot of work with cultural and art institutions, such as serving on the boards of museums like the Whitney Museum. And my question for you is, why do you believe that these types of institutions are important, and how do they benefit New York City?
So the cultural institutions, and I look at some of the artwork that is on your screen here, the cultural institutions are so important. Why are they important? Because they allow us to explore. They allow us to dream. They allow us to interact with art in a way that encourages us, inspires us. It challenges us. And the arts are so important. And if I look and see how artistic many of you are on the screen, and look at how you present on this screen, that is pure art. That's brilliance. That's creativity. And we need to highlight that. And we need to support that. The reason that I'm involved in these institutions is because they bring us together. They inspire us. If you go to a museum and you see a piece of artwork, or if you go outside and listen to a concert, or if you go outside and look at a play, there's something about that activity that gives you a sense of, this is a little different, and maybe I can do this, or it strikes a chord in you. It prompts you to think about the world maybe a little differently. But the arts and engaging in the arts is so important to how we evolve and how we connect with each other. The arts allow us all the possibilities, whether it's the people dancing in ballet, or the people who are singing music, or the people who are painting pictures, or the people who are the actors, either on television or in a play somewhere. All these are really important to us, really important to who we are, and they let us love and they let us laugh. These things are just so important. So that's why I invested in the arts. That's why I got involved in the arts early. And each of you is an artist. You may not have discovered that yet, but each of you is an artist. Guarantee there's something you can do that nobody else on the screen can do. Guaranteed.
All right, we'll go next to Alexa.
Hi, Alexa.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Cool. What you got?
Okay, in the future, I want to become an immigration lawyer so that just like you, I can help people. What advice do you have for a young person on how to stay motivated when trying to achieve their goals?
So, when I was coming up, I didn't have the opportunity not to succeed. There was, you have plan A, plan B. I didn't have a plan B. And so my family, like I said, we didn't have much at all. What I did have was the opportunity to get an education. And when I was early in my career, when I was, my first freshman week in college, I said I was going to be pre-law and pre-business. I too wanted to be a lawyer. But you know what you have to do to be a lawyer, to get into a great law school? You got to get great grades. You have to distinguish yourself getting grades. You need to be involved in activities, but you also need to be involved in you need to get great grades, because getting into law school is one of the more difficult things to do. Having said that, I did it, so you can do it. I applied to 5 or 6 different law schools and 1 business school. I got into business school. I'm not quite certain, how all that happened, but I got in. I didn't have any money, so it was all scholarship. I got into law school at the same time. So I'm rather than spend 3 years in law school, I'm going to have 1 extra year and get both degrees. You can do the same thing. You are gifted enough to be able to do the same thing, so that when you become the immigration lawyer that you want to become, your aspirations ought to be, starting today, that you're going to do whatever you can to get the best grades, go to the best law schools, and come out and be the best immigration lawyer in the country. So when any issues of immigration come up, they're going to say, you got to call Alexa because she's got it down. She knows what's going on. That's where you need to be. That's where you deserve to be. Call Alexa because Alexa knows everything there is to know about the law. She knows everything there is to know about the community. She grew up in the community. She knows the issues and she knows the law, and she's going to lead us forward. That's where you deserve to be.
Thank you. And we'll go to Marlon next, who you also met this morning.
Hi, Marlon, where are
Hi.
you? There
Hi.
you go.
Good morning.
What's happening? Did you do that piece of art behind you, Marlon? Who did that?
No, it was just here.
Okay. Do you like it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I learned that you are originally from Ohio and that you moved to New York City to pursue your career. You have also stated that you think that New York is the greatest city on earth. What inspired you to move to New York City, and in your opinion, what makes the city special?
Listen, I moved to New York City because that's where the best competition was. And that's where the job was, right? The jobs that I knew that I wanted to pursue. And I only had, I lucked into this. I didn't know anything about this thing called investment banking because they didn't have any investment bankers in my neighborhood. They didn't have any business people in my neighborhood. Everybody worked in the factory and my mother was a social worker, as I said. So I didn't know anything about it. It was about competition and continuing the competition that I had met when I came to the East Coast the first time and carrying on that competition. It was where the best people were going in my class, the people who had some experience, who knew what was up. They were going to finance. So I said, maybe I should try this. And I got to tell you, Marlon, there were, one or two people in the business in its entirety who looked like you and me, one or two. That means I had to break down the doors in order to make sure that I had the right opportunity, but to make sure that others had the opportunity as well. So you can go there and you can do well, which is my expectation. I don't expect you just to show up. I don't expect you to just be on the team. I expect you to, drop 30, 40 at any time. I'm looking for a triple double from you. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, no, maybe. Marlon, where are you?
Yes, my bad.
Okay. What kind of sport do you play, Marlon?
I play soccer.
Okay. You ever heard of a guy named Messi?
Yes.
Okay. You got a game like that?
Not yet.
Okay, but you headed there, right?
Yes.
You ever heard of a guy named Pele?
Yes.
Can you do that scissor kick or not? Tell me what you're working with.
I could.
Come on, man. You got to work on that thing, man.
Have you ever heard about Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yeah, man. I know about Ronaldo.
I could do his scissor kick.
You can?
Yeah.
How well do you do? What position you play?
I play right back.
Right back. Okay. So you got a little game here then, huh? You do Ronaldo's moves, and I'm good with that, man. Ronaldo's got some true game. I like his game.
Ray,
right, we're looking for you. We're looking for you, okay? I'm looking for that scissor kick. I'm looking for you to be the new Ronaldo. You got to come like that when you get on the field, man. You can't be sitting on the sideline lunching. You got to come out with your scissor kick, man. You got to be able to dribble, do them crossovers. You working on that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're in the mix now.
We want to be mindful of your time, Ray. Do you have time for 2 more questions?
Yeah, fire away. I got Messi in the house. I got Ronaldo in the house. We good.
Great. Okay, we'll go to Alan next.
Alan, talk to me. What sport you play, Alan?
Soccer as well.
Soccer as well. Let me ask you a question. You have you got an iPhone, I see.
Yeah.
Who's your top 3?
Messi. There's one guy from Chelsea called Lampard.
Yep.
He's one of my idols. And Pele as well.
Okay. And what about music? Who do you listen to?
I listen to whatever my mood is.
Okay. If you upbeat, you got to, who you like.
I don't know.
That ain't a trick question, man. I'm just, if I want to groove on your top 5 with you, I'm just trying to say this is what Alan listened to, so I want to share it. That's all.
I mostly listen to a band that's called Imagine Dragons.
Imagine Dragon. Okay. Anybody else know about Imagine Dragon? Y'all do show up. You woke James up. You woke Bradley. Everybody know about Imagine Dragon, man. You must have hit on something. Okay, I got you, Imagine Dragon. I'm gonna download Imagine Dragon after this. See what I'm into.
Okay.
Okay, fire away. Talk
Hi,
to me.
hi, good morning. My name is Alan, and my question for you is, can you describe us the process that goes into running for mayor? What does it take to run a political campaign?
It takes a lot of, man, you got to have some game out here, Alan. You got to meet a lot of people. You got to talk to people, understand what the issues are that they want to get solved. And you got to make the case for why you're the person to solve those issues. And that means you got to put people around you who can make certain that you get the message out, who tell your story. And you got to get, people to help you raise the money to get the message out. And it is a great experience. It's public service, which means you're in this to make sure that others' lives are better. And that's what this is all about. That's what it's all about, which is why I'm so inspired by seeing you all.
All right, we're going to go to our final question. It comes from Geraldine.
Hi, Geraldine. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, and you?
I am well, thank you.
So
Do you play
I
a sport,
have,
Geraldine?
Hmm?
You play a sport?
I swim often.
You swim?
Yeah.
Cool. What stroke is your best stroke? Freestyle, butterfly, back?
I think butterfly.
Ooh, okay, that's cool. That's hard. Okay, I got you.
So I have been hearing that across the country and in New York City that hate crimes against Asian Americans have increased since the start of the pandemic. In your own opinion, what needs to be done by the federal and local government to combat this type of hate?
Geraldine, we've had for a while as we've had anti-Black, we've had anti-Jewish, we've had anti-Muslim, we've had anti-gender, and we're experiencing anti-Asian. None of it is acceptable at all. And at any opportunity at all that we get, we need to stand up and say, this is unacceptable. This is not who we are. And it represents the worst of us. The white supremacy, the racism is not something for which we stand. We need to make sure that we stand together. All the mayoral candidates came together yesterday at the National Action Network, and we talked about our stand together to denounce racism, anti-Asian behavior, and all the activity that we see. This is an issue that you all will continue to confront. And if we're ever going to be able to address this issue, then you all have to make certain that you also let the world know that you don't tolerate it. And so I've stood up and said, I don't tolerate it. I will continue to stand up and say that I don't tolerate it. And as the mayor, I will invest in the hate crimes unit to make sure that we eliminate it at every instance. And I will, as mayor, stand up and say, I do not tolerate it in any form. And each of us has responsibility to say to our neighbors that we want to be taken on the same terms that they want to be taken. The golden rule is love your neighbor as yourself. And that's the way we need to interact with each other, independent of race or religion or, ethnic background. That is completely irrelevant. We need to take each other on our own terms and celebrate the richness of each of our cultures. So that's how you have to think about it. If you see it, call it out and say, I don't stand for this.
Thank you so much, Ray. We're so honored that you spent part of your morning with us. And we'll finish things up by going back to Tracey, who will lead us in a moment of silence to take in everything that you've shared this morning. And then Ivan will offer some final remarks.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Tracy. Just thank you so much, not just for what you said. There's no questioning your accomplishment and the towering intellect and courage that was required for you to reach the level that you've reached. But the warmth and the joy and the humor and the engagement, you made our students feel seen in a way that was quite magical and well nigh impossible on a screen, but you were able to do that. And praise from Devin is praise indeed. And she said how wonderful you are. But I could not have foreseen just the galvanic warmth and energy that surrounds your intellect and your accomplishments. And if we're fortunate enough to have you as mayor, we will be undoubtedly very, very well served. To quote a colonialist, I hope Ms. Mesba forgives me. She's our wonderful 8th grade teacher who helped our students with these wonderful questions. Rudyard Kipling talked about somebody who has the ability to walk with kings and queens, yet keep the common touch. And you embody that better than I think anybody we've met so far in this amazing series. But what a wonderful, wonderful way to end the week. And we wish you well in your course to the mayoralty, and we're so grateful for your time and your attention and your wonderful, wonderful warmth and kindness to our community. Any final words for us, Mr. McGuire?
Yes. My final words are, when I become the mayor, I'm coming to see you. So it'll be one of my first stops. I want you to be on your A game. Okay, it's gonna be face to face. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna listen to whoever's got the Imagine Dragon, see where y'all are. I'll be lit when I see y'all, okay? What's up? That's what's gonna be what's up, okay? Don't even sleep on this. So Natasha, I see you, I got you. Okay, Jimmy, my man, come on, work with me, okay? Bradley, y'all up? Amir, I got you. Miguel, okay. Rihanna, I see you. Dean, what's up? April, how you doing? You kind of leaning in there. Jessica, Allison, I see all of y'all. Cardine, I got you. Anyway, I'm coming to see y'all. Kayla, wake up. I got you. Jocelyn, okay? All right, y'all, listen, have a great day. If I miss you, means I'm gonna get you the next time. Don't think you're going anywhere, okay? Andre, I got you. Thank you all. Thanks for asking the questions. You're the future. So let's make this happen, okay? Love y'all.
Thank you.
Godspeed.
So much.